Hello and welcome. Just checking that everything's working. Just for everyone's information, I am doing a simulcast stream to Twitch and YouTube. So I can see that YouTube is showing up. Everything's good there. Twitch, I am not seeing it. Let's see. I've got my counter and my bite rate going, but... And don't worry about that if you don't know what that is. Oh, yes, I see it now. I am live. Okay, so got the YouTube chat up, got the stream chat up for Twitch, and we are good to go. So, welcome. This is one of my first live streams, Write With Me's, etc. And welcome. So, in the past, when I've done these, I kind of was making notes, answering questions, all of that. I'm going to try and do it a little differently this way. I'm going to try and do some actual writing sprints. I am going to keep it to an hour. In the future, I might make them longer, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Got my copyright-free fantasy background music going. I do have a couple notes that I want to make. And if you did follow along on the last live stream, Write With Me, it was more like outlining, but you may have noticed that I didn't really do a sprint at all. I was more just talking about my ideas and my notes. So for this one, there will be some times where I'm just going to stop talking for like 20 minutes straight. But I do have a few little notes to make first, because I did have some ideas and some breakthroughs between the last time and this time. And I also, other than the live stream, I didn't really like touch the draft too much. So I gotta make those notes, right? So that I don't forget them, because these things happen. I did write them down somewhere. Probably my phone. Because sometimes I get really good ideas and like I need to get them down before I forget them. And sometimes the only thing I have is like my notes app on my phone. If you've ever done any writing, you can probably relate to that. So we'll do that first. Let's see. Yes. Oh no, that was for a different, I did have an idea, but it was, and I wrote it down in my notes app. That's actually for a different draft that I'm not working on today. That needs editing. Yes. Okay, well, I actually had a bunch of different ideas that I was like systematically trying to get down in different notebooks. I have too many notebooks. My notes are all over the place. I have to collate them all at some point, because some of them are older and they're very helpful. Okay, so the first note that I made was the second chapter, where two of the characters come across the academy. So the tentative name for this fantasy series, 4-book plan series that I've already outlined the whole thing, I'm calling it like Dragon Academy in my head to myself, because it's just kind of a shorthand, so it's not a very creative name and it probably won't be the name. But I just needed a way to refer to it in my brain before figuring out the name. There we go. Just had to make a note of something there. Okay, so that was the first thing. So the reason why I decided to make that note is that I originally had set this in a very old draft. It was like the final chapter of a previous draft adventure where my characters came to this place where the academy is located at the end of their journey. And for some reason in that draft, I don't remember why, it was set at twilight of the day, which is kind of like, I guess it's neat as like a capstone. But then I was realizing the other day when I was thinking about this chapter is like, there's a lot of things that I want them to see and experience, my characters, coming across this academy for the first time. And I don't think it's as impactful if it's like, oh, it's nightfall, you know? It's dark and getting darker. So like, for instance, I was thinking about like, it's in this valley, this river valley in like a jungle type setting. And I was thinking it would be really neat if there was like mists in the jungle obscuring part of it, because there's like ruins and rubble and all this stuff. So that is all amazing and awesome, but if it's darkness, then that's not very impactful, I think. So that was my first note, just change the scene to be in daylight. You know, maybe the two characters have been on their journey and they're tired and they're hungry, but maybe it's noon, you know, or even morning, because that's when mists are. I'm not sure. I just think it needs to be in the daylight. Okay, so that's that. I also have all these notes about their acceptance into the academy. So, for instance, in this chapter, these two characters, they're journeying and they stumble across it. And it's like the thing they were journeying towards, but they didn't really know it. And then there's other characters, such as in this first chapter, she's actually recruited, but she's recruited at like the last minute before the school year starts type of deal. And then in the third chapter, which is the one that I was outlining before, it's also characters who have been journeying and they end up here. But then I made all these notes about like the regular way that people are usually recruited into the academy, and how there are going to be a few characters who go through that process. So what does that process look like, and how it's going to be explained to them. I also made all these notes about like the buildings that need to be on the campus and potential names for the academy. But I'm still not sure. I still don't know if I like it. So this story takes place in this world that I made up called Amorbia. So some names are potentially the Arcane Academy of Amorbian Magic or the Arcane Academy of Amorbian Mages. The only problem there is that there are characters and students and people who do not have magical skill, but they are here to study non-magical subjects. And so I've called them sages as opposed to mages. So is it the Arcane Academy of Amarbian Sages and Mages? Mages and Sages? Sages and Mages? Sage Mage? I don't know. I'm still working through it. In the meantime, I also have some notes about how they all get there. Because I'd had them like take this oath to be able to like have the glamour revealed to them, and all of a sudden the runes that they thought were runes are not. But that was kind of weak, so I'm changing it to be more magical mechanisms. So I have notes about that. So with all of that said, I need to write this chapter. Like, I need to add those type of things to the end of chapter 2. But I think I want to do that a little later. Always so tired in the afternoon. I need water. Here we are, the oath. They take the oath. I will also take the oath. Yeah, I don't really like this particular magical mechanism I have where it's just like the statue starts glowing. It's kind of weak. Oh, hello. Welcome to the chat room. I am just making some notes before I get to writing sprints. What kind of fantasy novel is this? It's, I would say, I guess you could call it new adult high fantasy, light academia, magical kids go to this academy for the first time, which is like university level. And there's talking dragons. Oops. Yes, the dragons are professors, but not all the professors are dragons. Uh, okay. All right, I think that's it for notes. I think I'm going to get to a sprint now, a writing sprint, for this third chapter, which has an outline already. So I'm probably gonna put on a timer for 20 minutes and then get to it. Oops. There we go. "20 minutes. Just really trying to think where to start this and what does it look like. I don't think ceilinged is a word. Maybe it is. High ceilinged. Burr, 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 burr. Do, 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 do. Oh, it's cold in here. I have to put up one of those things that's like tells you when I'm sprinting, so you can know why I'm not speaking. Three more minutes in the sprint. 20 minutes, only 3 paragraphs. That's not great. Sometimes writing drafts is like this. It's like pulling teeth. Stuffy. Oh, that's the end of the sprint. Okay, so with that 20 minutes over, like I said, I'm going to keep this to an hour, which means we only have 23 minutes left. I think I might do another 15-minute sprint, potentially, towards the end, because I do want to go back to my chapter, no, not my chapter, to this chapter, and I want to expand on this idea about how the main characters, most of them are late admittance to this fantasy academy, and how they get the usual admittance explained to them, because I wrote some notes down about it the other night, and I want to get it in here so I don't forget. Let's see. Yeah, she describes the way people are usually admitted to the academy. Oops. So, like, I really want to keep this to a light academia feel / aesthetic in this novel, which is not something that's very usual. I'm just, like, personally really kind of tired of dark academia. Love the whole academia framing of these stories for fantasy, but dark academia is just so played out, maybe, sort of. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe not everyone thinks that way. I don't know. So, what is light academia? It's that feel like just positivity when it comes to learning, and also just like bright daylight adventures rather than dork academia. That's pretty good. Rather than, well, I mean, like, dark academia isn't really pessimistic about learning, I suppose, but it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I mean, I'm not really going into any kind of gothic or any kind of horror elements here. It's a lot more like magic. There's like astral projection and things like that. So it's, and like nature-based magic. So I'm trying to lean into that a bit more. All that being said, the usual admittance process. There are students studying to be studying magical skills in order to become mages on graduation. There's also students studying non-magical skills, like for instance, diplomacy was one of them. Music, non-magic, non-magic combat skills like sword play. Languages, in order to become sages on graduation. Whoops. Okay. Usually, a mage or sage. Oh my god, I can't type. Who trained at the academy previously. Will recognize prospective students' talent. And I just want to say this is not really a spoiler to say that this academy is a hidden academy, a secret academy. So it's not like there's like secondary level high schools or whatever that are sending people to the academy. They have to be sought out, and then they have to be trusted with the secrets, which I haven't quite figured out the magical mechanics behind that, but I feel like I gotta figure that out somehow. And the reason for that is that dragons in this world are outlawed. So they're the professors, but the powers that be cannot know about them, or they will be instantly executed. Intensity. Okay. And then recommend that student to the academy faculty. A letter will be sent to the student inviting them to attend an entrance exam. Okay, I can't really travel to the academy for the exam. I'm going to highlight this at the end, I think. Because of its arcane nature. The exam proctor Astral project. I mean, I'm calling it astral projection, and that is what it is, but I feel like it needs to be either called something else or... I don't know. I haven't quite figured that out yet. My magic system is still kind of up in the air. To the student. Then I go back to grade it. All very mysterious. That's literally the note I wrote. And what is it? It's like either a demonstration of skill, or for non-magical, maybe just like a proficiency exam. Boring. I guess it's not necessarily boring if, like, you haven't gone through proficiency exams before. They're so boring. If accepted. Yeah. Okay. Comment. I just realized my next section narrative requires a bunch of new names. Oh no. Yeah. That's always a tough thing to do. I usually do it separately from the writing, but then you actually have to remember all the names. So I try and like have a document that's separate, that's got like the list of everything. Oh, you shove it into your outline. Huh, that's a way to do it too. I probably should do that and probably be more organized. We'll see. Right now I just kind of... You're going to call one of them M. Yo. Like all one word, or just like... Oh, just one of them, yo. I mean, that works. There's also, I heard this, this really specific writing trick that you can do that I've used once or twice, where you can put in a placeholder. So like I was saying, like the astral projection could be a placeholder, and then, but it's more for names. And then you put TK, and I think it's because there's no English words that use TK together. So then if you have to go back through your document, you can press like Control F for find, and then put in TK, and only those will show up. Oh yeah, look, I did it. Yep, I forgot about this. Yeah, I like randomly named a character, a really, really minor character, Mirabelle, which is obviously like not a really like in-world name or like whatever. Oh yeah, Kit Kat. But how often are you going to use Kit Kat, I guess? So anyway, so you can see it showed up, like Mirabelle, she only comes in for 2 sentences all the time now. Now you're going to use Kit Kat all the time, are you? Okay. That's funny. But anyways, it is kind of a trick. So that way you can go back through your document and you can kind of like rename whatever, or, you know, you can use it with whatever you need to find, as long as you're not writing about Kit Kats, I guess. Yeah. That's just a tiny little hint, I guess. I do find it with, like, super, super minor characters, it's really hard to think of names sometimes, and, like, Mirabelle, I was just like, it's the first one that, like, popped into my head, so I just threw it in there, and I'll figure it out later, because she's honestly, like, in the story for 2 seconds, and then she's gone. Cool, okay. But she is, like, super minor, but one of my major characters is familiar with her, but is leaving that setting, so is like, hi, Mirabelle, bye, Mirabelle, you know what I mean? So, all right, where was I? If passed the exam, the student travels to the academy. Well, to the Dragon Valley, where the ruins are. And stands. Five names is good enough. Cool. Those are cool names. Naming is funny. Like, you might have noticed this chapter I have. So the chapters are named after the character from whose perspective the chapter is going to be. So there's that. But I have, like, the really old names that I named these characters, like, way back when I literally just made them up. And then I also have my constructed language for this world, and then I translated those names into that language. So I'm kind of on the fence, because, like, some of them, just the made up ones, are pretty good. And some of them, I like the translated name, or I don't know. I just, like, have all these names. So I have, like, double names for a bunch of my characters. Do I use vulgar lang to do the phonemes? I did not. I'm not sure what that is. Vulgar lang. I'm gonna have to look that up, because I've never heard of it. The phonemes, I'm trying to remember. It's a tool to do conlangs. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that, because that's really cool. Because I had, like, so I have one language that's, like, for this world. I had, like, aspirations of doing a bunch more. Like, I wanted a language, so this is a language of magic, but then I wanted to do the language for the dragons, and I wanted to do language for, like, dwarves and all these things, but then I was like, oh, it takes so long. So maybe I'll look at that tool. The phonemes, I honestly don't remember. I have, like, books and books and books from ages ago where I made this language. I'd have to look it up, honestly. But yeah, I have a lot of extra names is the upshot of all that. And I may eventually use them. Cool. I should really try and, like, finish this note up. Tunnel entrance at, it's a portal. And at, these would come up with a consistent set of phonemes that are usually a subset of English phonemes. So, ooh, now that's a good suggestion, because that's definitely, like, a big thing in fantasy conlangs, right? Or any conlangs, where it's like you want the names of characters and places and things to be accessible for English readers. But you also want it to have internal consistency. so that it feels real. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. That's awesome. So yeah, I did that with some of my character names where I like took their phonemes, which had like tonal markings and all this stuff, and I kind of like dumbed it down, for a better term, so that it seemed like for English speakers it would be really easy to figure out how to pronounce them. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. It's a portal, and at it they say the words of the oath. Oops. If they are deemed worthy, maybe? Or something. Okay, I think I'm repeating my writing here now. Da, 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 da. Okay, yep, that's that. Okay, well, it's the end of the hour here, so I think we're going to sign off in a few minutes. Thank you for joining. I'm still kind of figuring out these live streams and the format I want to do. I don't mind the sprints, but I feel like if I'm going to do that more consistently, I have to make these live streams longer, because it seems like with all the chatting we do and all the notes I make and ideas I have, it's more like one sprint per hour. Yeah, and I should get some nice formatting that tells people, like, right now I'm not talking because a sprint is happening and stuff like that. You know what I mean. I'll figure it out. But in the meantime, I will see you later. I'm probably going to do another one of these same time this coming Thursday. I'm going to try and keep it to Tuesday, Thursday each week. We'll see if that works. And yeah, we'll go from there. Hopefully I'll get better at these, and yeah, I can continue to share the writing journey. Okay, see you guys later. Bye.